Oh, what the heck? I didn't see you there. It's a late night show, another late one. Pretty bad at getting on these shows, signing on at a reasonable time, but I had to do some volunteer work tonight, and just had a busy week on the road for work. So tonight on KO Bets, we're going to review UFC 266 Volkanovski against Ortega. My name is Bill. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment in the video. We'll figure out what we're going to drop in the comments in a little while. As always, until I run out, because I had to buy fucking 30 of them. I mean, not officially, you know, just when I'm drinking tonight. One more. Okay, I'm ready. So let's just dive right into it. It's taking place at T-Mobile Arena. I believe the main card starts at 9 p.m. Central Time. Early prelims start at 5. Prelims at 7. Main card at 9. It's going to be on ESPN+. We'll go through the early prelims and then maybe the prelims, and then we'll have a little break in between the prelims, main card. Tonight's show we're going to do a little bit different format. I have to have an opinion on everything, right? I got to give you my thoughts on every single fight, but it's hard to feel super confident or have an opinion about everything. Reality is, you know, I don't have strong opinions on some of these fights. So I'm going to go through, nominate all my picks, point out some good value props, and at the end, I'll nominate a couple of parlays for you. Definitely going to place both of these. Just curious if they'll hit. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to do start with the prelims here. Oh, let's look at the poster real quick. So Volkanovski, he looks like they had to blow him up a little bit in size, in my opinion. But, you know, he is the belt holder, so he should be at the forefront there. But he's not that big. In the first bout, we've got Jonathan Pierce coming in at 10-4 versus Omar Antonio Morales Ferreira at 11-1. Jonathan Pierce carries underdog odds at plus 130. Omar carries favored odds at minus 150. Pierce is 1-1 in the UFC. Very exciting fight style. Gets a lot of KOs. Has a win versus Kai Kamara KO. And then he lost his debut via KO, actually. I think only 2 out of 14 of his professional fights have made it to a decision. So you kind of, you know, you kind of figure if he's in a fight, he's either going to win or lose inside the distance. Of course, stylistically, you gotta weigh in those facts too. Who he's going up against, styles make fights. So, and in those 2 fights that have reached decisions, he's 1-1. So he's, you know, and it last happened in 2017. Omar, he's 3-1 in the UFC. He's been really impressive thus far. Obviously had the loss to Giga Chikadze. I think that was a KO. But 0 losses inside the distance. Okay, so it obviously wasn't a KO loss. Decision loss. 0 losses inside the distance. I kind of like... So Pierce is explosive. I think he's going to come out quick. But I kind of like Omar from like a decision perspective. I'm going to go with Omar as my pick. I don't know if we necessarily see a finish in this fight. I think if John Pierce wins, it's most likely going to come via the finish. But at minus 150 odds, I like Omar. If I was a betting man running a betting podcast called KO Bets and my name's Billy Betts and I had to pick a decision, I would choose probably an Omar decision. But I'm not going to nominate any props for this fight. Just don't feel real confident either way in how the bout's going to play out. I think Pierce could come in and obviously make a lot of noise early in this fight. So we'll have to see, but I do favor Omar's grappling ability. I think he'll be fine on the feet, and I just look for him to grind out a win, do what he needs to get a win, kind of like what he's done in a lot of his other fights. In the next bout, we've got Matthew Semelsberger, 8-3, against Martin Cine, who is 4-2, and he's got one no contest. So Cine, he, I believe, is out of one of these guys coming out of the maybe the Diaz camp. I read he was maybe trains at a Diaz Gracie gym. So he's about the jiu-jitsu. Probably pretty dangerous on the mat and capable of submitting anyone from there. Matthew Semelsberger, 2-1 in the UFC. He's got a ton of output, but he's super hittable. If we just scroll down to, I don't love these all the time, but the stats, I mean, you can see his shots landed per minute, 7.93. That's pretty high, but absorbed per minute, he gets hit sometimes. So, hopefully he holds up. I think you have to take Matthew Semelsberger. He carries favored odds at minus 550. I definitely think he's, gonna win this fight. I think he should do it inside the distance, but you never know. So if you're looking for better odds, a couple prop bets you could place, and I'm confident on Matthew, but a couple prop bets you could place are the Matthew KO or decision. You get improved odds to minus 400, which is still pretty miserable. And then you also have the option of a Matthew KO, which I think he's capable of doing this fight. I think this fight's set up for him to just come out and have a really strong performance, and he should finish the fight in spectacular fashion. So, the Matthew KO is minus 135. You could go with that. So personally, I think the minus 550 isn't bad to throw into a parlay or something if you're super confident. I just don't know if I'm really even going to entertain the idea of betting on this fight. I just don't view, even if it's a winning opportunity to place that Matthew Semelsberger bet, minus 550 odds is pretty brutal. So, I don't know. I'll have to see, but just trying to convey how I feel about this fight. In the next bout, we got Cody Brundage against Nick Maximov. Brundage comes in at minus 105 odds. Nick Maximov minus 115 odds. Both making their UFC debuts. Nick Maximov, another guy out of the Diaz gym. So you got to figure his jiu-jitsu is pretty strong. I wonder if he does some of those other sports like triathlons and stuff with those guys. I would expect to, see a certain style of fight out of him. He carries the reach advantage, height's very similar, but I kind of want to roll with Nick Maximov. Don't have a ton of background on either of these fighters, but I'm going to roll with Maximov just because of the gym credentials, and because I think even historically he definitely just seemed to be he just seemed to, so he hasn't had a loss, no flaws on the resume as of yet. Nick Diaz was talking about him, just basically saying he's a fucking beast. Yeah, so I'm excited to watch this fight. This is a 50-50 pick 'em for sure. So if you're feeling lucky and you want to go ahead and roll with a bet, I'm not going to nominate any props, anything like that. But honestly, these first three ones, I just don't love. It's good matchmaking, I think, and we'll see that play out on Saturday. But I just don't love the idea of betting on a lot of those first three fights. I'm more excited about this one, Uros Medic against Jalen Turner. I'm a big fan of Medic. I think he's been, I mean, he's only 1-0 in the UFC, but he seemed really good. He carries favorite odds at minus 120. Jalen Turner, underdog odds at plus 100. Turner's 3-2 in the UFC. He got KO'd by Vincent Luque. And his other loss was, he got like wrestled into a decision loss with Matt Frivola. Uros Medic, little background on him. All 7 of his fights, none of them have gone the distance. I think this bout has knockout written all over it. You got 2 wiry guys. Look at these knockout rates. How insane, right? So I'm a big fan of Uros Medic. I feel comfortable taking him on the money line for this fight, but I think like one of the best bets you could place on this card is like, does this fight go the distance? No, minus 225 odds. So, you're getting worse odds there, but I think that, I mean, there's no locks in the sport, but it's pretty much as close as you can get, in my opinion, to the lock. The Meta KO plus 150. Exact method of victory. So you could bet on just a KO, and I didn't realize this, but you could bet on just a KO by either fighter. That's minus 135 odds. So screw that. Does the fight go the distance? I don't think it's going to be a submission. Exact method of victory KO minus 135. That seems pretty appealing to me. So Uros Medic is our pick in this bout. Moving on to the prelims, we got Roxanne Modafferi against Talia Santos. Roxanne is kind of just, I mean, you could go and pull up her record, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. It seems like every time I'm betting on her, she'd take my money. She is 4-5 in the UFC, so she's won some bouts as an underdog, but then the fights she thinks she's gonna win, she just doesn't show up. So in my parlays, you're not gonna find Talia. Talia is my moneyline pick. She's 2-1 in the UFC. I think she's looked spectacular. Her only loss was a split decision. Just don't let it go to the judges with a fighter like Roxanne. Has tons of KO prowess. So, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, with her experience, Roxanne, out of her 44 fights, I had to get a calculator to add up 25 and 19. Out of her 44 fights, 30 have reached decisions. So, I like Talia Santos. She carries favorite odds minus 450. Roxanne Modafferi plus 340. If you like Roxanne, I think it's going to be a decision, right? Like, I think Talia maybe tires out or something like that, but I like Talia to win via decision or KO. I'm not going to nominate that as a prop bet. I did write it down. It's minus 400 odds. So if you like Talia, it's not a huge improvement over minus 450. Is it worth those 50 points to just like cut out the submission result potentially? I would say probably not. So we'll take her on the money line. New prop bet. In the next fight, we've got, let me just see what's going on. 0 viewers. It happens. In the next fight, we got Shamil Abdulrock against Chris Dawkis. It's Dawkis. Why do they call him Dawkis? Chris Dawkis. I think this is maybe the second time, at least this fight, they've tried to put it together. Chris Dawkis, 3-0 in the UFC, good boxer. 12 out of 14 of his bouts have ended via the KO. He's 10-2 in those fights. Great takedown defense. Semel, on the other hand, he's 5-3 in the UFC. Carries plus 125 underdog odds. Dawkis, just to reiterate, if I skip that, he's minus 210 favorite odds. Semel, more of a wrestler, Russian. You know, they're all fucking good wrestlers. They all, like, when they turn 4 or whatever, 3, maybe 3, 4's too old. They're wrestling like baby bears, like Khabib over there. And he's going to come in as the heavier fighter, I think, for sure. So it'll just be interesting how this fight plays out. Style matchup, you got the wrestler, Semel, against Chris Dawkis, the boxer. I tend to think with his takedown defense and just knockout prowess, I like Chris Dawkis in this fight to win with the minus 210 odds on the money line. I don't think the fight goes the distance. Semel actually has some KOs in his professional career. I imagine most of those would have come via, a knockdown and then hitting the fighter, or maybe he's just doing some ground and pound. Because I do not expect him to look extremely proficient on his feet in this fight. I think Dawkis is going to, all fights start standing up. I think Dawkis is going to keep it there, just box him up, move on to 4-0. So I like the Dawkis KO plus 110 odds. I like the Dawkis round 1 KO a little bit at plus 225 odds. If I had to choose between those two, I'd probably just do the Dawkis KO. Really not a fan of picking rounds. It just never really has paid off for me unless it's like Francis Ngannou. And then you're like, yeah, I'm going to bet on the round 1 TKO. And then it always works. I just don't think, I don't know, I'm not crazy confident Chris Dawkis is going to catch Semel like that in the first round, Let's see. We got Dan the Hangman Hooker against Nasrat Haqparast. Nasrat, he's 5-2 in the UFC. He's had some decent success. Obviously in a position to fight Dan Hooker, you're doing something right. A top 10 guy here. Earned his opportunity. Dan Hooker's coming off a 2-fight losing streak. He carries the favorite odds, though, at minus 150. And when we look at, like, who he lost to Michael Chandler, who, I got that one wrong. I thought Dan Hooker was going to welcome him to the UFC with a little KO. But Chandler won that fight, and then before that, it was Poirier. That was a hell of a fight. So, Dan Hooker, super violent striker, super high-level kickboxing. I think he's been working on his takedown defense. I'm sure it's not great. Yeah, 54%. Oh, that's his... Okay, 77%. Yeah, still not great. I think if Nasrat is going to win this fight, he has to grapple. He has to, like... Okay, you can keep it even on the feet, but then you're in there against a kickboxer who understands, the point aspect of combat fighting. I think he definitely needs to get, at least 2 takedowns in this bout to even stand a chance at winning. I like Dan Hooker. For them to give him this is outside the 15, Nasrat. And maybe, his skill warrants, that's, rankings aren't everything. Maybe his skill warrants him to have a higher ranking, but Dan Hooker, this matchmaking, in my opinion, is a little bit disrespectful. I'm a little bit worried about potentially like weight cutting issues, but in all the interviews and everything Dana said in terms of talking about Dan Hooker and getting his visa, getting back to the States, he just sounds super focused and ready to go in there. So I'm going to take him at his word. The word Dana says is his word. And yeah, we're going to roll with Dan Hooker. I don't think the fight lasts the distance. You could get minus 135 odds for this to end inside the distance. The Hooker KO or decision is minus 135 odds. Again, it's so close to minus 150. I don't even know why I talked about that, but I probably not bet on that. I just wouldn't do it. It just, I don't know. Why cut out the submission? You know, it could happen. He's got like 3 of them on his record. Dan Hooker does, so it could happen. But I'm a big Dan Hooker fan. Hopefully he bounces back here, gets in the win column, you know, and starts getting in that conversation for potential, you know, #1 contender type matchup. So let's see, in that division you got Poirier and Oliveira who are going to fight. Chandler, Gaethje, they're set to fight. And then I'm not sure, but he could get a top 5 opponent for sure, I would think. Winning this bout, get back on the right track. In the next fight, we've got Marlon Moraes against Merab Dvalishvili. We're going to call him Merab. Merab's 13-4. Marlon Moraes 23-8. Marlon Moraes, super explosive, great striker. Might be the hardest hitter in the 135-pound division. But that being said, he gasses out quick. So Merab carries heavy favorite odds, minus 255. Marlon Moraes, plus 205. They call Merab the Machine. And he's going up against Magic. So, I don't know why I brought that up, but, you know, he's got an incredible gas tank, Merab does. He's 6-2 in the UFC. I think he lost his first 2 fights, and then now he's just on a crazy tear. Yeah, excellent pressure. I think he needs to tire out Marlon. I think he needs to get his takedowns. And even if he doesn't get the first one, he's going to come back for his seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, depending on how many he gets and how quickly Marlon gets up. He's going to bring that pressure constantly. Marlon Moraes, 2-fight losing streak. I think he needs to win this one early, like round 1. I think the longer he's in there with Merab, he's just going to tire out. That's just what I think. I don't really love any prop bets on this. If I had to take maybe one prop bet, it would be a Merab KO or decision at minus 200. If you do like Marlon Moraes, consider that round 1 KO for plus 1,400 odds. That's, I mean, if you like him, I think that's where he's going to do it, right? Is striking and very early in the match. He just gets tired out. But yeah, we're going to go with Merab, the wrestler from Georgia. Alright, moving on. Oh, we got the main card next, so I said I'd take a bit of a break here. Is this loading? Oh yeah, it's loading. Okay. Just making sure. Said I'd take a bit of a break. Maybe talk about my week, plans for the weekend, stuff like that. Maybe get a refill. We'll keep it brief, just like, 5 minutes. So it's 10:55 p.m. where I'm at. The reason why I got on so late tonight, I joined my old high school, the alumni board over there. So I was running like a 50-50 raffle tonight at the football game. So we raised some money for the school. I was in Davenport earlier today. Had a great time with customers out there. Earlier in the week, it was Joliet. Went up to Milwaukee. Just kind of all over the place this week. Went into the city, Chicago. Yeah, just was all over the place. And then this weekend is my mom's birthday. She's turning 32 years old. To my beautiful mother. She watches these. She's my biggest fan and supporter, which I love. We're going to play night golf. We're going to do a shrimp boil. And if you've never played night golf, I haven't. But what it is it's a clear golf ball. And there's a little sleeve in there. Hey, Johnny, you want to come over? Yeah, okay. What is my review of... let me finish this. So there's a clear ball with a little glow stick that you pop. You put it in there. Yeah, so we're going to play some night golf. I'm looking forward to that. And then Sunday, I might have... I don't know. My customer's got a... in Chicago here, he's got a little golf tournament thing, like a 9-hole thing. I'm going to try and get out there to do that. I think on Sunday. Johnny Tsunami's commenting in the chat here. What is your review of Bush Apple? So a couple things. It's Bush Light. It's Bush Light, John. And then secondly, it's super tasty. My biggest complaint with Anheuser-Busch in creating this is the fact you gotta buy 30 of them. And that's a lot. It tastes like apple juice. Really good. Smooth. I mean, I don't mind Busch Light beer. Probably would never buy it, but I would buy Busch Light Apple, which I did. So. Definite fruity notes, like apple. I'm picking up apple. Macintosh, Jonathan, Gala, Macintosh, Golden, Macintosh, Gala. Jonathan apple, like it's got red apples on here, but I think it tastes more like a green apple. Yeah, and you can drink a ton of them and you don't get drunk. The craziest thing. But it's good stuff, John. You should try it. You should come over and try some. If you want. Johnny's my brother. He's in town for my mom's birthday this weekend. He lives out in Davenport, so. Appreciate the comment, Johnny. And for everyone who watches the video later, at this point in time, please give me, let me know what you think about Busch Light Apple in the comments. You like it? You don't like it? Have you tried it? Have you not tried it? Do you want to try it? Do you not want to try it? Let me know. Appreciate that, Johnny. That was great for the my drinking break here. Now we're moving on to the main card. It's crazy. So there's 13 bouts total. And this portion, obviously it's the main card, right? So the matchup should be good, but I'm just like, I'm geeking out over the chick fighters. I'm geeking out over the dude fighters. I love a lot of these people fighting. So we got Jessica Andrade against Cynthia Calvillo. Jessica Andrade 21-9. Cynthia 9-2-1. So Jessica Andrade carries favored odds at -240. Cynthia underdog odds plus 195. I think Andrade is a beast. Has had a lot of success in the UFC. My favorite female fighters, Rose Namajunas, and in their first, might have been their only matchup, but for sure their first matchup against each other, Jessica Andrade just like picked her up and slammed her on the ground, and Rose was done. And she was done for a little while there, and she came back strong, took the belt away from Weili Zhang, who I believe got her belt from Jessica Andrade. Kind of interesting. So she's 1-3 in her last 4, but that level of competition is just unreal. I mean, she lost to Shevchenko in her last fight. Before that, it might have been she got the win, and then lost to Weili Zhang, maybe Rose in a rematch, something like that. But Cynthia Calvillo, I just don't think she's a great fighter. Nothing against her personally. I think Andrade is she's super physical. I think she's a great talent in the sport. I think she's gonna give Cynthia a lot of issues. Both of Cynthia's losses come via decision. I just think this is like such a step up in competition. I don't view it as particularly great matchmaking, but I mean, Cynthia's number 5, Jessica Andrade number 1. Jessica Andrade already probably has fights against the rest of the top 5, so might make sense from that perspective. It's a new fight, but I think we're going with Jessica Andrade on the money line. That's like, honestly, so I view Medic as like, I don't think he should be a lock, but like I perceive him as like a lock. I'm gonna bet on him. I like Chris Dawkis a lot, but really I like Dan Hooker a lot, but really until this fight, like Andrade is like the one money line pick where you just like, I'm so confident this one's gonna hit. As a prop bet, if you want to chase positive odds, you could do the Andrade KO submission plus 180. I kind of think that's what Jessica needs to do and is set up to do in this fight, is just go out, have a real strong performance, finish the fight. It's teed up for that, for her, in my opinion. So really like Jessica Andrade. It could go to a decision. Like I said, both of Cynthia's fights that she's lost went to decision. But I don't think Cynthia's faced anything like Jessica Andrade. So don't feel bad about the minus 240 odds. I mean, we've got other, like this next fight. Curtis Blaydes is minus 335. We've seen him fight guys like Jardim Rosenstrike before, and we'll get into this. So Curtis Blaydes, really talented wrestler, explosive, hard puncher, but he definitely is comfortable with fights on the mat. We've seen him lose twice to Francis Ngannou, once to Derek Lewis. Those are his 3 losses. Jardim Rosenstrike, his 2 losses. Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou. And he only wins via KO. Look at that KO rate, 92%. Even look at Curtis Blaydes. When you get into these heavyweight bouts, you like the idea of a knockout or a stoppage. You just do. So Curtis Blaydes, he gets primarily all those through the ground and pound. Maybe early in his career, he was doing it more from a stand-up, but he is going to shoot for the takedowns. Look at this. In a 3-round fight, he averages over 6.5 takedowns. That's ridiculous. So he's like a maraud. He's, you know, it's a style thing. He's just going to keep diving in there, and he's going to go for the takedown. And this one, it gives me fits, because, like, in 3 rounds, I think Curtis Blades comfortably wins 2 out of 3 rounds. I think he's the better fighter. But we've seen Jairzinho, Rosenstrike, the power he possesses. He doesn't fight like a Cyril Gane, but he fights more like a Francis, a Lewis, Mark Hunt, Nelson from back in the day. Like, you know, he's looking to square up with you, get you within range, and hit you with one shot, and it's over. That's what he's looking to do. So, I don't know. I'm torn. Like, minus 335 odds for Blades, those aren't good odds, in my opinion. We've seen him get punched in the head and just fall on the mat against this type of fighter exactly. So I love Curtis Blades, and I feel confident, like, in a 3-round bout, he would win a decision, if it goes to a decision. I just don't see it. I'm going to go with Jairzinho, Rosenstrike, plus 260 odds. This is not my only underdog, so you already know who the next one is, but I think he's in a good position to win this fight. Just stylistically, it makes a lot of sense that the baby boy wins. Something I like better than, like, trying to choose a side in this is, does the fight go the distance? Nose minus 190. I kind of love that. I think if Jairzinho gets taken down, Curtis Blades could get the ref stoppage via ground and pound. I think that was... I'm down in the kitchen tonight. Yeah, I'll show you. Instead of my normal spot. And I think either the neighbors are outside. It's probably the neighbors, or someone was making noise up there. Yeah, so we're gonna go with Jairzinho, Rosenstrike. It's just fun. Like, that feels like a fun pick. I smiled when I circled it, and then I really stressed out about it now for 2 minutes, but it just sounds fun. In the next bout, we got the return of Nick Diaz. Cheers. Don't be scared. Facing Robbie Lawler for the second time. First time was like 17 or 18 years ago. So I don't think you can take much away from that fight other than, you know, Robbie's an explosive fighter, explosive movements. I think he gets kind of tired out maybe. I mean, you can draw, I guess, from Nick Diaz's style in that fight, because it's similar to what he always does. He's going to weaponize pace, march down his opponent, you know, not even throw 50% of his power behind his shots, just really conserve the gas tank, point strike, and chooses moments where he unleashes powerful shots to the body, hooks around the guard, you know, when guys get tired and they just start leaning against the fence. Part of me liked Robbie, I like Robbie Lawler in this, part of me does, but we're going to go with Nick Diaz. I don't have so Robbie Lawler, he's on a 4-fight losing streak. I think he's like, so including his loss to Woodley, he might only have a win over like Donald Cerrone in there. So it's just been a rough fall from, you know, being the belt holder to where he's at now. I don't really have a prop bet. I do kind of like the Nick Diaz KO or decision, but we did see Askren submit Robbie Lawler, and I understand like that's what Askren does, right? He literally couldn't do anything else except for ride opponents like a backpack in the octagon, get on their back and rear naked choke them. But I mean, we saw that. I mean, you're getting favored odds plus 140. Maybe for fun, I'll place a small KO wager on Nick Diaz, but I don't know. I think if it goes to a decision, he's going to have obviously the stronger late rounds, and I think he does I think he fights a little bit different than his brother Nate in the sense like he is a quicker starter in the octagon. Nate just seems to more like intentionally concede those early rounds, whereas Nick definitely I think has a more aggressive style. So in the next fight we've got Valentina Shevchenko against Lauren Murphy. Nothing against Lauren Murphy and her 5-fight win streak, but like Valentina's the GOAT. I mean, she hasn't lost to anyone except for Nunes in the UFC, Amanda Nunes, who's, you know, the GOAT. And then, I mean, my GOAT is Rose Namajunas, but, you know, it's hard to... Valentina's just unreal. She is unreal. I love her style of training where she just like goes from gym to gym constantly and she's trying to learn different crafts and just get better in all martial arts. She seems to be really passionate and just about combat sports in general. You kind of wonder like what motive... She's kind of got like that Habib motivation where she's just trying to be like the best martial artist she possibly can be. Habib was different, right? He just won a smash, but you know, Valentina does a lot more than he did in the octagon as far as a stand-up game. But, you know, I just think she's going to be better than Lauren Murphy in all aspects of this fight. I did see Lauren Murphy's arms. Holy shit. Fucking pythons. She is ripped. But muscle sinks. We're going with Valentina Shevchenko. Minus 1,600 odds versus Lauren Murphy plus 900 odds. I like oh, here, let me switch back to the browser page to pull up this fight. Bummer. I probably didn't have it for the other two. I'm a little distracted in the kitchen. I've got a guest in the kitchen. So I like Valentina Shevchenko. I like her to win inside the distance, KO or submission, either one, minus 225 odds. Not great odds, but a huge improvement over minus 1,600 odds. In the next fight, we've got Alexander Volkanovski against Brian Ortega, coming in with a combined two losses. You know, I think in this fight, so Brian Volkanovski 22-1, Brian Ortega 15-1, one no contest, because he popped dirty for drugs. I would describe Volkanovski as like just an incredible competitor. I don't like Max Holloway is one of my favorite fighters. The way he stood with Max was super impressive, in my opinion. Beat him twice. You could argue, you know, about this. Either bout, in my opinion, it was a judge's decision in a high volume, you know, high output match. It was you know, there were people that were going to be upset, and I was one of them. No, I wasn't. I like Max, but, you know, Volkanovski, he showed a lot, and I'm real impressed with his style, his unwillingness to concede rounds, his ability to, like, go in there and just do what he has to, regardless of the opponent. He's got, like I said, in those Max fights, he's got great stand-up, great output, great footwork, great speed. He's done decent against some other grapplers, way different body types, but other grapplers. And then we got Brian Ortega, who's just like a submission master and looks better and better on his feet. And, okay, let me preface this by saying, like, since losing to Max Holloway, and it wasn't a good loss, in my opinion. He's only beaten Korean Zombie. You know, and Korean Zombie is perceived to have a very respectable and good stand-up game, and Brian Ortega really, he looked impressive on the feet. He kept the fight on the feet and looked great. That being said, I think this is a significant step up in competition against Alexander Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski is, you know, he's just like this pissed off little midget, and he's, you know, I shouldn't have said that. He's down under. He's down under your average height for normal full-grown men. He's down under that. So if the bar's like 5'7", he's like right down under at 5'6". Massive. I'm gonna go with Alexander Volkanovski, minus 180 odds. Volkanovski prop bet. I like the KO or decision at minus 175 odds. Although, again, why even take that, right? Minus 180 on the money line. So, I think the reasons he wins, I think the output's higher. The last time we saw Brian Ortega in the cage against a high output stand-up fighter, he definitely, he just looked bad. He wilted in that fight. It was a doctor's stoppage. He didn't look good. He didn't look good at all. And I don't know what the deal was. Maybe there were some extracurriculars that played a factor in that fight, but he did not look good. And, you know, if he beats Volkanovski, I think he's capable of doing it. He's the taller fighter. He's going to have, at least a leg reach advantage. Volkanovski, Jesus. 71.5-inch reach for a 5'6" height. That's insane. But I think the only way Ortega really can win this fight is with a submission. And I just don't see... I don't know. I don't see, like, Alexander getting baited into, like, you know, where guys are, like, on their back trying to get you to come grapple with them. I just don't think he's really going to get into that stuff. He's super focused, technical, seems to do his homework on everyone. And I think if anyone wants this belt, they're going to have to go in there and, like, fucking knock him out or something. And I don't perceive Brian Ortega as that type of fighter who's going to, like, go in there tomorrow night and just make a insane statement and win. Can he do it? Yeah, sure, but that's just my opinion. I think I need to see a little bit more than just what we saw in the Korean Zombie fight. Korean Zombie, he's obviously a tough fighter, great stand-up, but he's a counter-striker. I think he's very one-dimensional in that respect. So I definitely love Volkanovski in this card. So now we get to the fun stuff. Whoops. Let me click around a few more pages. Anyways, I'm going to do a little segment for parlays at the end of my shows from now on. So first we'll go with the conservative parlay. And how I would define a conservative parlay is like parlays. They're always risky, right? Even if they're for sure things, right? Because you need several things to go in your direction. So we're going to call the conservative parlay like maybe, a highly... I like... We're taking a more analytical approach with those rather than betting with the hearts, betting on, betting because of this, whatever it is, So it's more of I hope it should hit. It should hit, in my opinion. Okay? Conservative, it should hit. The other one is a prayer. And I'm going to place them both. So Medic versus Turner, does it go the distance? No. Love that. Minus 225 odds. And you can, these are the conservative picks. Listen to what I say. These are bets I like, and I'm definitely going to be placing. Andrade, money line, minus 240. Shamil versus Dawkis, does it go the distance? No. Minus 200. Those combine at plus 206 odds, so you're getting back 206 for every dollar bet. Not bad. And the next fight, and then we've got our prayer parlay. I'm getting a little tired, I think. We've got our prayer parlay. And for this one, we've got Medic on the money line, minus 120. Semelsberger money line, minus 550. Talia money line. Santos money line, minus 450. Dawkis KO, plus 110. Hooker money line, minus 150. Andrade money line, minus 240. Shevchenko KO or submission, minus 225. Volkanovski money line, minus 180. Those odds combine to plus 2,396 odds. Please. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's fun to place those types of bets. Don't bet a lot, though. If you're doing that, don't do that. You could substitute a Medic KO, and you get plus 150 odds on that. So you could substitute that for the money line pick, and that improves the odds even more to plus 3,304. So while I've got everyone here still, just in the live chat here, and you should see this on the review if you're watching afterwards. Conservative parlay. I'm going to just comment in the live chat what I like here. So bear with me. Medic versus Turner. Does fight go the distance? No. Minus 225 odds. Then we've got Andrade money line, minus 240. Then we've got Shamil versus Dawkis. I realized I used the first name from someone and the last name from another fighter, but who cares? Does fight go the distance? No. And that is minus 200. Where you get plus 206 parlay odds. Cool. Alright, and then this one we'll call the prayer. Whoa, halfway there. Whoa, living on a we'll come up with something more catchy. We'll call this the prayer parlay. That was Medich money line minus 120. Semelsberger minus 550. Talia Santos money line minus 450. Dawkis KO plus 110. Hooker money line minus 150. Andrade money line minus 1 or not minus 240. Shevchenko sub or KO minus 225. Volkanovski money line minus 180 for a total of plus 2,396 parlay odds. And then lastly, Meta KO for to get plus 304 odds. And I use DraftKings typically to place these bets. But I'd like to put that in there. Hopefully it pops up during the review, just so you can see some of those bets I put in there. I'll definitely be placing both of those tomorrow at some point in the afternoon. Like I said, a little busy with family activities, which I'm super excited to partake in night golf. Never done that before. Otherwise, Sunday, football, maybe more golf. I'll have the review show on Monday. I'll for sure do an NFL show on Sunday. I already made my picks and stuff. For last night, we did pretty good. I think on both the spread and on the money line pick of the Panthers. I'm not sure if we hit the over-under, but we'll go over that on Sunday. I'll go through that file, make some picks. Feel free to join the show if you got any fantasy start questions for your fantasy lineup. I've got my email in the YouTube link here. If you want to join any of my DraftKings leagues, just shoot me a message in there, like your DraftKings code, and you can get invited to everything that I participate in. Typically, me and a group of guys will put together lineups for like big UFC events, Sunday games. Sometimes we do basketball. Sometimes I don't do baseball. I don't do hockey. I do actually enjoy golf on DraftKings a lot, but that's more similar to like a NASCAR as far as the format. So I did this way too late tonight. I'm running low on energy, but I appreciate everyone who stuck it out with me. Johnny, I'll see you tomorrow. Everyone else, I'll see you on Sunday. Have good nights, safe Saturdays, safe Friday evenings. Enjoy some of the fall weather. Happy fall, y'all. And I'll talk to you all on Sunday. Real quick, subscribe, like the video, comment. Thank you. It does mean a lot to have the interactions on there. I just got another viewer. Who is that? feel bad. They just signed on and I'm about to sign off. I'll just hang out for a second longer. Which I gotta do. I don't know, there's some weird like lag thing where when I switch from, you know, the Streamlabs platform, sometimes it cuts me out a little bit early. So I'll finish this. I just enjoy hanging out with you guys so much. I'm going to take my time and finish this. And then, you know, good night. I'm done with this. Peace. I muted it just in time, but that was an awful burp. Have a good night, everyone.